Hello everybody, I'm Martin. Welcome to another episode of Glacial Awakening. Today, I am a changed man. No longer will we hunt penguins for sport and for their tasty, delicious leather we need to use as a string replacement. No, today we're going to finally make a tree. But to do that, I need leather. Instead, we're just going to raid the house on the other side of the hill from mine that I'd forgotten existed, because there's blocks of leather right there as well as some of the drying racks. Who am I kidding? I didn't learn anything, I'm still a monster. So as a general reminder of where we were on this quest to grow trees, which requires we make some mutation paste blocks, which are stone dust blocks from our strainer, the bone shards from our strainer, and some fertile soil which we previously made, we need to make a couple more. And now that we have this, we can turn cave roots directly into saplings via this recipe back here on the last page involving mutation paste. Just 2 of those and a cave root becomes 2 saplings, and that's all that we need for right now. Which finishes this quest, which also gives us a crook that we're going to need to get more saplings more easily until this runs out. Alright, it's getting dark and this is a little bit of a dangerous area for now. I do need to hurry up and get some wood to fence this area in, but I put the fertile soil down here because this makes it grow faster. We put the sapling down there and then bone meal it as per the usual, and watch it not work at all. Alright, I either forgot to record or I lost some footage somehow, but I managed to get some more bone meal out of my house and grew some trees and got some saplings and the other drops, of which include things like acorns and apples and these silkworm eggs in my hand, and some of it sprayed all over my roof and I had to climb up there to go get it because I need all of the things. But the silkworm eggs are probably the most important part, because you use them kind of like chicken eggs and they don't always spawn. They eventually do pop out a silkworm that grows over time and gets slightly bigger and eventually sheds its skin. And you can take its cocoon and turn it into silk thread, or if you have a spindle, even to more, although the spindle requires a tripwire hook which requires iron. But the silk thread can be turned directly into wool or string. So you know, of course, we need to set up a farm for these, right? So I've got a bed of hoppers here leading to this chest right next to me near my strainers that are boxed off in cubes in a checkerboard pattern blocked off by these dirt blocks. Because silkworms are territorial, they will attack other silkworms if they see them. So if the one on the other side of that wall right there could see it and get to it, it would kill this one. Same with the one that's behind that one, they would attack each other. So what we do is we just block them in and leave them on the hoppers, and inside the box out come silk cocoons. But at this point this is just free string and I can span this out as far as I want to go as long as I've got room to put more of them in. So, and stone to create more of the hoppers with. Not the cheapest farm, but it's still no effort on my part versus, having to get a bunch of leather. Man, I've really got to hurry up and find a better livable area than this because this is way too cramped. But I had to replace the dirt walls with fences to see what was going on because I heard silkworms dying behind the walls. Apparently, 1 block isn't far enough apart. You need at least 2 spacing them apart to be able to keep them from killing each other. So that's going to take up a lot of space back here, more than I had been planning on. So I'm only going to put like 4 of them back here and hope that that's enough for a while. But in the meantime, we probably should work on crafting a bed with all the string that we're getting. So let's see how much we're sitting on, but we'll probably need to wait a little bit and I probably need a few more silkworms. Well, it turns out we had exactly enough cocoons to make the wool we needed, 12 pieces to make a bed. And I think sleeping with one's pets is appropriate, right? But now nighttime is no longer a problem. Well, it's still a problem if I wander too far away, but you get my point. But this now gets us a satchel, which looks like it's just another bar's worth of inventory, which isn't terrible given how little space I have when I'm running around right now. Anyhow, now we probably need to make the log mallet, because this is used to make the Tetra Workbench, and the log mallet is just sticks and wood. And now, thankfully, we can make a crafting table the normal way, where we can just drop this down here, and smack it with that, and it becomes the Tetra crafting table. And this is relevant because this is what's used instead of Tinker's construct in this set to make custom equipment. Although I honestly don't remember how it works right now. Aha, if I'd just been a little more patient, I would have realized I had the hollow sphere in my inventory that we got immediately after making the work table. And this just explains how to make stuff in Tetra and how to use it and what pieces they take. So we could actually probably make slightly better equipment now, although I think we still might be mostly limited to flint, wood, and stone. But it might actually have more durability, I'd have to test. But you can also make multi-tools with this. Okay, so I figured it out. It doesn't work with the pyrotech tools, but it does work with vanilla ones. So I was able to create a normal stone pickaxe, and now we can modify it if we so choose. And we can also repair it. Now, I am limited to what I can actually upgrade because I can only work with stone and wood right now with the tier 1 hammer, the log mount that we're using. We would need a better hammer to do even iron at this point. Not that I have iron. Alright, I figured out where I went wrong. So the reason we couldn't actually do anything to the pick is because you had to repair it first, because for whatever reason, the brand new pick was 56 durability short of max. It's probably true of most tools. But we can do things like upgrade the flimsy handle to a wood handle, which requires a tier 1 axe, which in this case is the stone axe. And then we just hit craft. And that increases our stats in things like durability, and I don't know if it increases or decreases speed. I probably should have looked. But so this is 0.91 and then 1.1. So let's go let's wrap the handle in some leather. It requires a cutting implement, which I don't have. Alright, I'm at a temporary loss. I don't actually know what it means by cutting tool. It says I have a tier 01 available and I need a tier 1. I don't know if it's the stone knife I just put on the wall over there, or it's actual proper shears that I don't have. It's going to have to wait a bit. It's not that important. The important part is now we can level these up some. They gain abilities kind of like in Tinker's Construct if they have experience attached to it, as well as being able to modify the heads. Like I could turn this into a multi-tool now if I wanted to have something like a mattock from Tinker's Construct. But you do sacrifice some bonuses by splitting a tool like that. Don't know how important it is, but just going to leave it as is for now. I don't really need a multi-tool. They break fast enough as it is. Anyways, our next stop is to make the small storage crate, which is pretty much what it is in any normal version. It's honestly kind of overpowered, but you just need to make a wood casing, which is just more wood combined with 4 chests. But now we have some massive storage. And if you're unfamiliar, well, there you go. The important part is long term you can do things like put one of these inside of it to smash it and treat it like an immersive engineering crate where it doesn't lose its internals. This does go away the next time you put the crate down though. And there's things like upgrading chests to storage crates. And there's multiple sizes. You can make them even bigger. They have basically multiple pages of inventory. That said, this is quite a ways away from what we can do since we don't have iron yet, much less black quartz. But when it comes time to move, it might actually be useful. I don't know if we'll be moving before or after we have iron. It's hard to say. But now moving back to the main quest into where this starts getting weird. Here's where we start getting into Hearth Well. Now we need 2 oak pressure plates. We need to come up with something fancy to say. And then I've got to remember how this even works. Alright, seems only proper that we do this outside near our trees, but let's see if I can figure this out. And of course I wasn't recording when I finally figured it out. The important part is you need to be looking straight up, otherwise it doesn't work. And then you just right click them together. But the book is a pretty standard manual that goes through and explains how everything works and what everything you need to do, which is not insignificant. But the next thing we need to do is setting up a combustion chamber, which is mostly just a bunch of stone. And more stone, and a piece of gunpowder that we're going to have to go kill some creepers for probably. Although if push comes to shove, you can put crushed flint into the freezer to make it. Now as to what we want the combustion chamber for, well, because one of the things we can do is turn flint into gunpowder. And from there we can turn gunpowder into blaze powder, and or gunpowder and blaze powder into redstone. Alright, assuming I understand the instructions, we put the stone casing down like this, put a block around it like that, like that, and like that. Chop that one out, and then we're going to need to put another one here because we're going to have to put another block over it when it's done. I'm going to have to come up with a cleaner way to do this because this is a mess. We take the combustion heater and put it inside. It needs to have some fuel. I created a log pile because it smelts a significantly more amount of items than the base logs do, which is I believe 1.5. This smelts 15 for the cost of 9 logs. And now if we go back into the quest book, we can complete this for a hat that we already made because that was pointless. And now it's telling us to create blaze powder, which is throw gunpowder and seal it up, and then add some fuel. So first things first, we're going to climb up here and throw some flint in here, seal it up, put the log pile in, watch it heat up, and there should have been an explosion. Oh, that's the problem. We can't actually get enough to make gunpowder. Well, that's unfortunate. We need to go kill some more creepers. Alright, gunpowder obtained. Let's try this again. Alright, it needs a button or a lever to activate. Yeah, there we go. And now I have the blaze powder. And of course it wants one more than the recipe makes. It's a good thing I've got 2 gunpowder. Alright, and now that's finished and it's giving us an efficiency meter for the water strainer, which I don't care about. Yeah, I'm starting to think, unfortunately, that crushing flint might actually be the more reasonable way to get gunpowder in the future, because it turns out we need a lot of it because we need it for the next step, which is making the stone kiln. And it's not the kiln itself. The kiln itself is pretty easy. It just requires a bunch of masonry bricks and another masonry brick, and these are just stone brick slabs busted up. It's the other part of this, the heavy ingots made inside the stone kiln, because they require this heavy mixed lump, which requires blaze powder, which requires more gunpowder. So I guess we're going to bust up a whole bunch of hammers smashing up flint, huh? And I'm probably going to have to make some more grinding tools to go manually dump out a bunch of cobblestone and turn that in gravel to get it in the first place. Have I mentioned recently that I don't miss skyblock? But don't worry, it doesn't stand this tedious step all that long in this one at least. But man, we've really got to get out of these cramped quarters pretty soon. This is starting to drive me nuts. Is it wrong that I killed the deer because I wanted to use this room? Anyhow, with the deer out of here, I can now put the kiln down, which kind of acts like a furnace, except not really. It does let me turn cobblestone into stone and fire clay and make sand into glass, but it's not really all that great. We're going to put a log pile in here. Totally remember that we need to actually set it on fire. Start that up, and now take our heavy lump and put it in there. And you can see that it's slowly cooking to the top, and it's going to take another 30 seconds. When this finishes, you can see that it then becomes the correct output, and we can just take it out, and now those are done. And this is still continuing to burn, so maybe I shouldn't have used a log pile. And that gets us pants we also don't need, but moves us to very close to the end of the chapter. Next up, we apparently need to fill up a stick full of mystery. So we need an empty rod, which is heavy nuggets, which we have, and some glass, which we can make, and a crushing block, which is more heavy ingots, another heavy block, and some stone. So it's a good thing I killed some more creepers in between while I was waiting, because we need some more blaze powder. You know what, I realized I've been silly. We've been wasting those log piles when I could just do the time-honored tradition of burning stuff. Because in this one, you can set fire, toss things into it, in this case wood, and after a couple seconds it will turn into charcoal. There it is, which is much more fuel efficient. Alright, heavy block obtained as well as the rod. Let's see how this works. Yep, and you just right click and it filled it up, 33%. Guess we can go up all the way probably, huh? Yep, there we go, and now we have a Myst Rod. And with that, we now have this done. Jello. And having created the Myst Rod, I think we're going to call it a day at this point, because now we're starting to get directly into the full weirdness with Hearth Well. Even though we aren't actually into chapter 2 yet, we're very close, but it's all kind of interrelated from this point out. And the next steps are actually kind of complicated as far as my memory serves me. So, if you found this episode interesting and entertaining, please consider leaving a like or subscribing if you're new. As always, I'm Ard. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.